Watching the season 10 three-part reunion of the Vanderpump Rules made me feel like we were getting into the woods. Hello, darlings, and welcome to Performance Perspective, where we watch different performances and then share our perspectives. If you're new here, hi, I'm Care Darling, and if you're not, welcome back. This is definitely an episode where I didn't want to put on makeup or said anything. I just want to talk about it, but I also just okay, to be fair, some of you may know because I posted on my Instagram that I edit while Vanderpump is playing, and you might be wondering, why do I watch this show? And I realized it reminds me of my favorite musical, Into the Woods. Into the Woods is about various fairy tales that these people need to go into the woods in order for their wish or dream to come true. Familiar fairy tales like Cinderella, Jack and the Beanstalk, Red Riding Hood, and so much more. In the first act, it's fun because you know their stories, you know where it's going, and they will have their wish come true. But in the second act, the question is, what happens after they're happily ever after? What attracts me to this musical is that as I grow older, I connect with different characters depending what's going on in my life. Anyways, I recommend seeing the musical live or on Broadway HD, but not, and I repeat myself, not the Disney Plus version. Ugh.
Well, that's another story, never mind. Anyway,
Let's go ahead and cast this musical with the Vanderpump Rules people. I'm only going to cast season 10 cast, but if you have suggestions, I'm happy to hear it. Allie and Brock, they're not on the list, but again, if you have suggestions, I would love to hear it. I want to start with Andy and Lisa because at first I felt that both of them could be the narrator, but ultimately I'm going to give it to Lisa because she is connected to the rest of the cast and knows their story. But be careful, Lisa, because some of them don't like the way you've been telling it. Andy, I feel, would be the spirit because he's a part of the show, but he seems like an outsider and he asks a lot of questions. No more questions. Schwartz is so dumb, but dang, there's something about him that you tend to forgive because he should know better, but he doesn't compute. Therefore, he is cast as Jack. Jack also has a tendency to not speak correctly at times, hence his mom gets frustrated because he never seems to learn.
and no one keeps a cow for a friend. Sometimes I fear your touch.
Unfortunately, Jack is easily manipulated because he sees the good in everything, and life is more of a game. Also, his success was based on luck and opportunity. Now, if you think Katie would be Jack's mom, you are rude. I see her more as Red Riding Hood because they are both, a little snarky, but realistic when it comes to surviving. They will cut you if you wrong them because they've been hurt before. Red has a song and sings, "Nice is different than good," and it makes me think of her rocky relationship with Stassi, which, sitting here, I realize, do I think Stassi is the wolf? But okay, so the dynamic between Red and Jack does make me think of Katie and Schwartz.
I'll take care of him.
You will?
Yes. I'll be your mother now.
Even though both Katie and Red are tough, they care. And sometimes they just need someone to stand up for them and let them know no one is alone. Ugh, okay, we're getting into Sandoval. Sandoval, to me, is Cinderella's prince. I know you might be thinking, why not the wolf? Which is valid, but hear me out. The prince is always chasing maidens, and he will never be satisfied and settled because he lives for the chase. A great line the prince says is, "I was raised to be charming, not sincere." The prince does love Cinderella, but he's never going to be that partner. Rachel was easy for me. She's Snow White, where she's not part of the main cast. She can be referenced a lot and come near the end to, yawn and say, "Excuse me." She's just someone for the prince to chase, but you know that it won't last for long. James is next, and I want to say that a lot of people felt that him and Lala did speak up a lot during the reunion, and you know what? I think that's exactly what Ariana needed. She needed someone to go to battle for her and say the things she wanted, but because it's public, it might be seen as Ariana is unhinged, and no wonder Tom cheated on her, and you know what? I think that's BS. Ariana also needed someone that kept making her laugh because this is dark.
Poo-poo head? Both of you, poo-poo heads.
James.
I'm gonna get sent for a timeout.
Anyways, James is Rapunzel's prince because he also is known to love the chase, but they both tend to do the most when they are in love. Rapunzel's prince goes blind when the witch catches him trying to see Rapunzel. There's also a competition between the princes, and it reminds me of the dynamic between Sandoval and James. They see it as brotherly, but it's actually really toxic. Now with Sheena, I was stuck on because I felt she was like Rapunzel because she seemed naive and unrealistic to what love is, whether it was from, a lover or a friend or family. But I realized that was Sheena in the past. She has upgraded in my books to the baker's wife, and here's why. There's something about Sheena that was motherly before even becoming a mother. Her and the baker's wife, they both genuinely care about the people around them, even if they take from them. And then they end up still giving more. They both are protective, especially when it comes to family, but sometimes they might have a weakness to live the dream, but then snap back to realize their reality is their dream and not to chase the delusion. Lala is the witch. Hands down, there will be no understudies for this role. Lala is it. The line the witch sings, you're so nice, you're not good, you're not bad, you're just nice. Like, the witch is so complex because she's a villain and a hero depending how you watch it. If there is a problem, she wants to solve it, even if it means getting her hands dirty. But to her, it's the right thing to do. I remember an old episode on Vanderpump when I thought, oh my gosh, it's like the song Your Fault, where the cast is blaming each other and ultimately goes to the witch, and she points out that everyone is to blame. But if they want to blame her, that's fine, because again with the song, because why bother? You'll just do what you do. Okay, well, here's the clip.
I am done with every single person sitting there blaming each other for what the is going down. So let's, as a united front as women, come together. What the is going on here?
Last is Ariana, and to me, she is Cinderella. They both have a great work ethic and are kind to people and animals. When it comes to a decision, they tend to want fate to decide and allow the chips fall where they may. When Cinderella finds out that the prince has strayed, she says to him, "My father's house was a nightmare. Yours was a dream. Now I want something in between." Also, the way Cinderella connects to the tree, which her mother has been buried, reminds me of the connection with Ariana and her father. I think Ariana is going to now live a life that's her own because if anything, Sandoval was holding her back. Just like Cinderella, she trusted the prince when he went out, and the prince wanted her to stay put and go nowhere.
Why, if you love me, would you have strayed?
I thought if you were mine that I would never wish for more. And part of me is content and as happy as I've ever been. But there remains a part of me that continually needs more.
I have on occasion wanted more, but that doesn't mean I went in search of it.
You're a worm with a mustache.
Well, that's my cast list, and I hope you enjoyed it. Or maybe you feel there should be a switch, but let me know. Why not? And if you're still here, don't forget to like and subscribe, especially if you like to talk about musicals. And without further ado, take care, darling.